Welcome to a short video on the new method of closing payroll in versions 24.2 and beyond. Really pretty simple. The first thing we want to do is get you like a list of things to do. So what I think is best is there's certainly some help when we go to the payroll management and close the payroll year. You will see that there's a year-end guide. You can use that if you wish. That looks something like this. So several pages of things to do in prep and actually closing the payroll year. I, on the other hand, like one that I found in the knowledge base. Most folks don't use the knowledge base in here, so if nothing else, you'll know where to find it and maybe help you with some of your problems down the road. So if we went over to the knowledge base and simply typed in payroll closing, and we could find this little guy over here that's entitled "What is Multi-Year Payroll," etc., etc. And we also have another called that describes the enhancement for the way that we do things now. And so we're going to go to this guy right here. Okay, and this is going to explain to you what does closing the payroll year do. Okay, so we do this in 5.3a as I've just showed you. So it saves certain payroll data separately from the current records for the year that you're closing. In other words, when we close at the end of 22, you're going to have all of the records that you had for payroll in 2022. And when we close 2023, and if we don't archive, then we'll have 2 years worth of payroll if you wish. Second thing it does, it goes through and it clears everybody's year-to-date and quarter-to-date totals for various and sundry things, including sick and vacation. It updates the last year carry forward amounts with the current available sick and vacation hours, if you use that. It creates ACA records for the new year, if that's important to you. It updates the first pay period in the current year with the bi-weekly payroll setting, etc., etc., and advances the current payroll year. Okay, so essentially, you are left with 2022 records, and you're ready to go when for the first payroll in 2023. So you really don't need a whole lot of help from tech support or whatnot to do this. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to talk about is what's the difference between closing payroll or archiving. So last year and several years in the past, we've had to archive payroll in order to be able to process payroll in the new year. So this just tells you that closing payroll is faster, takes a few seconds, and you're done. Archiving payroll is done in the database administrator, and what it does is it removes the oldest payroll year to make room if your disk is filling up. If it's starting to go slow, then you might want to archive payroll. So what that does is that if you had 4 years in, it would take the oldest year and just remove all those records. So this, by the way, archiving also allows you to remove employee records for laid off, quit, terminated, etc., which we were able to do. Okay, what do you do before closing the payroll year? Okay, finish processing the 2022 payroll. Okay, and then you might want to, we're not going to be able to do this here, but you'll get a payroll tax update in usually mid-December, and it'll have most of all of the federal and state stuff updated for you. Sometimes the feds are a little bit slow, so there may be another update for the feds, but we'll see what happens. We run an audit. Very important, we run an audit. Do that in December before all of the resources are tied up with New Year stuff. Run it. If we have errors, we can run the repair. Sometimes you can fix things manually that are easy to find. We'll show you how to do that in a second. And then we'll simply close the payroll year. This is just telling you have to be logged in as a company admin. Okay, so people are given privileges by whoever's the system administrator, and if you're a payroll admin, you simply check the box on the way in and confirm that you're a payroll admin, a company admin, and then you can be set up as a payroll admin. Okay. Then what we're going to do when we get into the new year, we're going to need to go to the 521, the employee calculations and payroll calculations. So the payroll calculations are going to need new rates. So for instance, I believe in 2022, the maximum for FICA and it will stop deducting after that figure goes up to I think it's $160,200. We'll need to update our workers' comp rates, pay group benefits, et cetera, et cetera. You guys do this as a matter of course anyhow. How does it know what payroll records to include when closing the payroll year? It looks at the check date. Simple as that. What happens if you close the payroll year and have already started processing payroll in the new year? It'll only close the payroll records that have a check date in 2022 in this case. Can it be undone? No. Yeah, so just you can't do that. We want to make sure that there's probably in the database administrator, your system should be backing up every evening. If so, then you can, if the worst happens, you can restore. But that probably is not going to be a big deal. How do you remove payroll records? Again, we've already talked about that. You simply go in and do an archive. Can you run and process report matrix forms for the closed payroll year? Yes, you can. Okay. Can I edit void payroll records in a closed payroll year? Yes, you can. For the immediate current payroll year, the preceding payroll year. What happens if you edit void, et cetera, et cetera? I'm not going to go into all these. You can review these just for your own information. We don't want to make this an all-day video. Let's just kind of get to it. And you have your questions and answers here, and you have a process on this page to go ahead and take care of business. Okay, so I'm going to leave this, and we're going to go into our sample company. So the first thing that we want to do, and again, I want to emphasize that you want to do your audit, your payroll audit, in December before all hell breaks loose. It's simple to do. You simply go in as with proper creds as an administrator or a payroll administrator, and you audit. Simple as that. Now, what did it find? It found uncomputed records and a couple of unposted records. Okay. Could we still close? Yes, we could. Okay, let's look at this audit report, and we'll print that out to the screen so you can see it. It just says which records are uncomputed. But basically, we have a payroll in here that has not been processed yet. Okay. For clarity's sake, process the last payroll, print the checks, and do what's necessary, and hopefully all these errors go away. So we're going to do an audit, probably early to mid-December. And then you certainly want to do that before you close, just in case there's stuff out here. Sometimes you're going to get more complex problems. Sometimes it's easy enough to fix those. You can call tech support for that. You can call Bangert for that, perhaps. Okay, we cannot get in through the back door. We used to be able to do that as consultants. We can't do that anymore. So you would have to get a hold of tech support. So you may do so by either, what we're going to do is we're going to go over here and you go to support. You can set up a session in a live chat. You could enter a support ticket. You could call, and the number to call is 800-866-8049. 800-866-8049. That will also get you through to a technician. You may be asked to put your name in a queue and have them call you back. In any case, they'll get back to you, and if it's a difficult audit error, they can help you fix it. You're going to need, by the way, when you call, you're going to need your customer ID and obviously the name of the company. All right, so let's get to it. We ran our payroll audit. If we had errors, we would repair it, which does an audit and a repair at the same time, still comes up with the same thing. So if you can press either, if you need to repair, you can repair, or you can just do a repair. Pretty simple. Okay, so then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to simply close the payroll year. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And Pop says, you can't do it because we're not in December. You have to be at least in December before you do this. All right, so I'm going to magically go down here. And I am going to, excuse me, I have to right click and I'm going to adjust the date and time. And I am going to turn this little dude off here and change this to December 9th. Okay, so now the computer thinks that we're in December. Can we close the payroll year? Yes, we can. Ba-doom. Yes. Done. You are all done. You don't have to worry about anything else. You can go ahead and process your first 2023 payroll. Again, you want to do this just right after you do your last payroll in 2022. Past that, we can now go into our payroll calcs. Okay, and you're going to be warned about this, but when we're in 2023, like if you go over here to your Social Security, okay, notice that this is 160,200. Put it in here, options, update, and use, in this case, we update the default rate and maximum. Even though it's the same for this year, we're going to use this choice. When we get to things like 401k, okay, that's why we have this other guy over here, update maximum only. Otherwise, you have individual rates for each employee, and it's going to wipe those out with whatever you have as a default rate. So make sure you use option number 2, and you can do all or current, doesn't really matter. Okay, so you go through all your calculations. You'll check your workers' comp percentages or hourly rates or whatnot, your experience mods, etc., and let's get those in properly so that you're using those rates for the new payroll. Pay groups, you may need to change rates. You may need to change benefit rates. Okay, so this is the rate for this particular pay group. That's about it. Once we're done with that, we're pretty much ready to go, and you can go ahead and proceed and do your first 2023 payroll. If you have any questions, you can give us a call here at Bangert, and we'll see if we can set you straight. This is going to be a whole lot easier than it used to be, guys. Oh, by the way, before I forget, uh, in security, if you are the one that is actually doing the security, you're going to notice now that our security groups, oh no, excuse me, our user list. Right? This person can be get in as an administrator, and if we say yes, any person they might not be a company administrator, but they can be a payroll administrator. So if you're getting some odd error messages that are popping up, you would want to go through as the system administrator and change those as is appropriate. Thanks for listening and have a great holiday season. Bye-bye.